Okay, recording is on. Can I start with a demo?
I love demos. Usually because they go wrong.
Because they go wrong.
But
Yeah,
you
thanks for
got to do a
the
commit.
vote of
You got to
confidence there.
commit just before. It's like,
Oh,
got to
I
commit
can
now.
do that. I'll hang on. Let me just make sure that I did commit nice and fresh there.
In the long tradition of demos.
In the long tradition of winging it as you demo. Yep, we're good. Fresh code, untested. Here we go. So
Okay.
there's a few little bugs here and there that are really bugging me, but they're kind of hard to trace down. I'm trying to give you just the bare minimum.
Are they mainline bugs or are they just irritating?
They happen on like you got to refresh the page kind of bugs, which is
that's fine.
yeah, is it though? Like, yeah, okay. Anyway, so you can go through here. You can pick your chats. They resume nice and quick. I gave you code highlighting. I gave you copy. So you go copy, and then it copies it to the clipboard. You can chat away. I gave you streaming. Show me some Rust code.
Oh, nice.
Nice and crisp. Nice little demo there. Now show me some Markdown with emojis, bitch. There. So that's the performance of the thing, and you can go. You can copy it. It's not bad, right? It's not bad.
I'm pretty disappointed that it didn't throw you some shade back for calling it bitch, mind you.
This is 3.5. So 3.5.
Oh, right. Okay, that's what
in comparison, right? It's like that is like the fucking the 386 chip that like things really got, or the 486 where it really got cool. But when you look at a 486, you're like, that is lame. So that's that. I got some issues where the formatting goes a bit bung. I actually think that that's Grok, because I experienced that a little bit in the Grok UI. I think Grok screwed up the. I think what it did was Grok tried to do within a fenced block. It tried to do another fenced block, which threw the formatter. So it's like, I don't even know what. Like, it doesn't know when the blocks start. It lost the ordering. So there's that. I'll show you the bug I'm fighting at the moment. This is a really long thread, right? Like it's purposefully long. It's got issues where, see how it's sluggish to scroll? So I need to fix that. But it gets really sluggish when you say something. Like the rendering of it is groaning, and it's not. I just don't know how much time you think it's worth to fix these things. These things bug me immensely. See, like, look how long that took just to start rendering, and it's like you can watch the spinny thing, and it's kind of clunky. Like, it's like right, very sluggish. So you saw it running fast. It can run fast, but when the number of messages gets big, in particular, when it gets big and it's got these highlighted code blocks, it starts to get unpleasant.
Okay. Well, I count that as a medium, because I think people understand that the bigger the context, the harder it's got to work, sort of thing. Even though it's not.
Yeah, I guess I don't even care about people. I just care about you for now, because I need to get you up and running so that I can switch back to the trucking guys. So, is that worth fixing?
No, not right now, because I'll be dropping in and out of different chats. So when I drop into a different chat, it's still working in the background, right?
Yeah, so I can go. it doesn't show you the streaming if you switch. So I'm like, tell me a really long story using fenced code blocks in Markdown. So I can go there, it's ticking away. You can see that 6S is the story. I can go back to the other chat, but then I come back to here and you lose the streaming. But I can make that, I can think how I can make that come back for you pretty easily. But what you will get is once the streaming has completed, the chats will show up.
Yeah, okay.
I hope.
Right, so that's a rough edge.
Yeah, so you can open multiple windows and whatever. So I don't really know what the best way to do it is. I spent the day plus a sort of poking around a half day yesterday to get the basics going, and I spent a day putting some polish on it so that it actually does the things I just showed you. But it's been really hard to get help from the AI because sluggishness is, first of all, UI is hard. See, look, the chat just came in. Like, it, once it finishes streaming on the server, you will see it pop in, but you won't get to see the streaming while it's happening.
Right. While I'm using it, that's not going to be a problem.
All right.
I know.
Yeah. So there's an issue. There's a really hard thing to fix in vibe coding where if it's UI related, like when you scroll, it doesn't do something or blah, blah, blah. Like that's quite hard to get the bot to test in an automated way. Only the human can really verify that that works for now. I can imagine a world where you can take an agent that can browse and it will browse to the test page and it'll do its experiment. And so that solves that problem eventually. But the real hard one is the one I was hitting today, which is to say that sluggishness of performance is actually quite hard to show in a UI because the agents only deal in screenshots. And you're like, screenshot, screenshot, screenshot.
Yeah,
and it's like, this is slow. And it's like, define slow, given that I have no real concept of time.
You're not going to be able to capture anyone's frustration either, because
rage is not a modality that the bots are very well phrased in. Right? It's.
I remember having to deal with this with the census, because if the census website was too slow, you inevitably got people clicking again and again.
Yeah, it makes it worse, right? Yeah.
And you're right, bots would not, at the moment, be able to spot that.
Yeah, so you could say that I could go the other way and I could take a performance profile, like I could make a little debug system here that could fire up the browser page, run a profile on it, and then pass the profiling back to the bot, and then the bot looks at it from that angle. So there's that maybe, but I'm just like, when will this shit end? Like, there is a minimum standard of UI that I think that we need, otherwise it's just wasting everyone's time, like stupid bugs.
Well, the one thing that AI has shown us is the previous received wisdom was people get bored and click off after about 2.5 seconds. That's obviously not true so long as the end result is high quality enough.
Correct. They're very understanding of that. So yeah, I mean, how much longer do you want me to spend on the UI? This is probably good enough that I can move on, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I was going to give you this cog dropdown that lets you set the system prompt and other parameters like which model am I using, what are the search tools enabled, that kind of thing, right? And then at that point you can choose all these models, you can change your system prompt, and then you can edit your system prompt because your system prompt is so the system prompt is in here, and you'll be able to.
Oh, you could edit that.
It's a file. It's just a file, so everything's a file.
Sorry, file inside a repo. Yeah.
So, sorry?
Okay. No, that's fine. Actually, I could work with that.
Right. So,
Knowing its location.
yeah, so here's quite a long set of messages. You can also see the messages too.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of poke around in there. What were we in? We were in EE66. So that would be... where is EE66? 6S. Have I lost my marbles? Oh, there it is. Oh, I see. The page doesn't scroll. That's fine. Whatever. Lol. So that is your big ass message there. That came in after you'd sort of switched away. Yeah, look, the page doesn't render right. Lol. I can fix another quirk.
Yeah.
If you refresh the page, it will have the correct size. But due to the rendering issues between an iframe not being able to know the size of its parent container and other such things, there is a workaround. I applied the workaround. Obviously, I did not apply it correctly. So
Okay,
refresh the page.
The thing I'm most interested in is transcludes.
Oh, you would ask for that. I don't have transcludes, my man. So yeah, I don't have transcludes, but that's I should probably stop what I'm doing on this stuff, right, and get you transcludes, because that's probably...
This is good enough. It's scrappy, I know.
Yeah,
but it's good
it
enough.
is the intelligence. Like it's actually... I need to learn more humility. No one gives a shit about our software or the platform. They care about the power of the AI behind it, and it is genuinely running Grok 4. Grok 4 has in here it doesn't show it, but it has access to search, to X, to the web. It's the thing that scored 45% in humanity's last exam is talking to you here. So that's pretty damn good. Not because of us, but because of it. And this system kind of works. So what I was going to do is... I figured that home is an absolutely pointless button, and so I think that home should be the bonded state board to the chat that you've currently got. So it would need a different name and a different icon, but it's like the highest of the highest things, the holiest of holies. When you click it, you're in the chat and you're looking at the state board that is related to that chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then to deal with all these buttons down here, which are all basically context editing functions, I would put that as a button you can click on the state board that puts the state board into context creation mode, so that you're either in view mode or consume mode, or you're in edit mode, create mode, where you're making context.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We
and
talked about
then
that last time.
yeah,
Makes sense.
And then when you view the transcludes tool allows you to do more finessed modification of your transclusion, like remove some files or jiggle things around, but also view your past transcludes as well that you might want to see that may have come from other chats or other such things. And ultimately, we will add in there a tool that will do something akin to automatic transclusion, where it looks at the context, looks at what you're trying to do, and then works out what the optimal way to pack your transclusion is. When you click on this button, the attach button, that's actually going to fire up the transcludes manager, and that's where you add files, as opposed to cluttering up this part of the workspace with like a pop-up button, or like these other guys, they kind of gotta, like, you got this shit going on and it's like, well, what the fuck, like...
Yeah, But
Yeah.
also, what I found is because of the lack, well, you do have history down the side, but you might want to recreate it at a previous step.
Right.
If you upload a file, you kind of want to stash that somewhere.
Right. So when you upload it, yeah. So for us, clicking that button opens the transclude manager, and then that's going to store it in the file system somewhere. And
Yeah,
so, like, it's actually a permanent file that you're there. Whereas these guys, I don't know why, but like, yeah, you can store files, but they're not quite, they're not in there. Whereas for us, a good, easy advantage for us is that everything's a file. And so the chats are a file, the messages are a file, and so your files are easily files. And it's all just there, and you
and everyone
can,
understands that, and you get a warm
yeah.
fuzzy feeling because it's a file.
Yeah, and you're like, I have a handle on it, and then you've got like it's a repo, so you can push it, pull it, you can pull it down to your old machine with your IDE, and you can edit it in a code box. You can have Codex pull it in and work on it and all that. It's all just files and Git, and so
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be good.
So how would I use that? Let's take a CRM. Probably what I'll do is save a transclude um, that has to do with a topic on a customer or type of customer,
Right.
and then use that transclude, then add in additional information, say an uploaded file that pushes it on,
Okay.
and then ask questions of, okay, so the transclude is the previous context, including previous chats, perhaps, um, and the new information you've got, you just uploaded, or there's another chat, you can pull it in because they're all files. Then you ask that information, and that is now a new chat. Yeah, yeah, I could work with that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's loads of rough edges, but given we need to prioritize, those rough edges can wait, I think.
Yeah, we need to prioritize. All right, so the goal is really run a thin line through the system to get to the latest AIs hooked up to the artifact file system with transcludes, allowing you to add files into context and select it, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, we should be able to leverage the intelligence and start using it to actually help us make decisions and stuff like that. I'll flick back to the CRM, the trucking guys, and then, if they're still hanging on, and then once I get them sorted, I'll come back to you and give you agents.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder how much longer I have to work. Like, it's very hard to first of all, forecasting software sucks anyway. But
Yeah.
then you got this issue that we're like, well, we got all these AI tools helping now. Surely it should be faster. And it's like, maybe, but you're also trying to do more. So are we just back
Oh
in the
yeah.
same spot, or are we worse?
The answer is how long you've got to work. Well, until you die in a ditch.
I feel close to
But
dying. The ditch
yeah, but,
and me. They're not far apart, buddy.
what you could do each cycle is going to increase in oomph, in power. It just will, because it already has. But the amount of stuff to do, the to-do list is probably only going to increase, especially when people start using this. The rate of chomping through stocks was something we talked about a year ago. I think that is the metric, though, because as soon as we get AIs and potentially other people coming in, looking at innovations, going, yeah, I could do that, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
It's discovered in the background. Then you can accelerate. But I don't know, there might be a new kind of Moore's law, or reverse Moore's law, or whatever.
Yeah.
The more stocks you have, the more stocks you generate by some factor.
Right. The faster you can go, the further you travel, which makes it you're about the same.
Because the inverse is bad, if you get a reducing number of stocks, it's like, well, guys, come on, use it more.
Yeah, stucks are the signal, eh? It's like, but there's this weird spot where it goes from me to me plus more. And then once we get good at me plus more, that's when we can start to take off. Yeah, I guess my question is how can we get some projections in place to predict the rate of delivery of these things? We now have AI, and we're going to have our own tools to help us do these things. What does that mean? And what does done look like? Is done like organizing conferences or doing revenue generating work or what? Like, what is it?
You need data for that before we even get close to doing it, or at least know what that data is.
Yeah, one of the issues is we have this interface design. This is 2 months old now, which feels like an eternity. So we can start to sort of map out each button down the side that we know we want, and we can say, well, this button took X, so therefore 5X buttons takes 5X time. There's that kind of estimate. I think I just want, as soon as possible, a way for the bots to not just forecast time, but measure time. Like, be like, well, you were working on this nap for this amount of time, and then it was done. Here is the change of features by reviewing the commits. Therefore,
Yeah,
this other thing is going to take about this amount of time.
but also what it wants to, oh, you're connecting again.
You are connecting. I am connected.
Ah, right. It's me going down again. If you
Yeah,
can still hear
I
me,
can
I'll
hear
keep
your
talking.
voice, dude. Your voice is flawless.
Ah,
Well,
it's a graceful.
the media channel your voice is traveling on is flawless.
Ah, excellent. Well, I'll keep going because it's graceful degradation then. Yeah, the next step, of course, after that is of all these things I could do, what should I work on?
Of all the things you could do, right? So I think that having a projection management system or a goal management system is a very powerful standalone tool anyway. It's like, here's all the reasoning, all the opportunities. Here's the pipeline, because the pipeline has to be a structure that we hold. And then we're like, this is a pipeline of work. Go. And it can figure out what's involved for each one. And it's like, here's your roadmap.
Yeah, or it's
Here's
even good with wild error bars. It's like,
any
t-shirt
error
sizes
bars at
or
all. We
whatever.
don't even have error
Yeah,
bars. And then we
yeah,
start to get into a pattern of like, well, here's what we know works. And it just every day it runs the report and updates the error bars, which is one of the key letdowns of any good tracking or forecasting system. Is you need some fanatic to just keep
yeah,
updating it all the time, and it feels like a wasted salary slot because you're like, you should be doing
yeah.
something else. But
I agree. At the moment, we are doing a really gross version of that, which is when can you switch over to doing CRM?
yeah,
You know, it's like, well, I'm going minimalist. It's like, what's the minimum,
yeah,
that
right,
can get me moving?
yeah,
And while you're doing the CRM, I'm probably going to be, creating a list of things going, so can't do that, can't do that.
right.
It's like,
But the
oh
key
shit.
is you'll be able to do it on platform. I hope. Like, that's really
Yes.
my deep
Yeah.
wish, and why I keep working on this thing is I want to get it so that it's good enough for you to use it as your daily driver, and I
Yeah.
want it so that it's the thing you prefer. And I'm happy
Yeah.
to keep sitting here iterating until you're like, yep, 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 good.
Yeah. Well, with transcripts, I think we're there. Well, we get the version of this, which is a bit like those kiddie versions of, JCB diggers that you get in play parks.
Right.
I can go and dig a small hole, can move around, but then fall over, which is fine, because that allows to push the CRM thing on, and it's not going to be public yet until we get you off the CRM back. then I'll have a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, I mean, it can be public now, but the meter may run out of money because there's no billing. So
Yeah, I'm reticent of making it public because of what happened with Hal.
it's already
Um,
public. Like, there's nothing
yeah,
stopping anyone going and using this.
yeah, but advertised, I guess.
Right. Fair enough. Well, we didn't even advertise Hell, and people ripped that. I was like, who the fuck are these people? There's still someone using Hell. There's still someone using Hell.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't had the time to dig into who, but that every now and then I get a warning. Your usage for blah 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 is over the. And I'm like, what? Who is using?
Well, it's not me. It's not Marla.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll replace all those pages with a redirect to this new version once we've got the crappiest thing going.
Yeah.
How long? How long? And can we talk about how long in terms of like features that we need so that we can get other people involved, or features that we need so that we can get the AI doing work for us on platform? And when I say doing work, I mean doing work that we don't actually do, like goal ranking, goal reasoning, goal reckoning. Like, is that a good idea? How long might it take? What goals have we shot for in the past? Take all these chats and figure out the goals. Who should we talk about this? Answer my email. Those things. That's what I want out of this thing.
So the first one, how long before we've got other people using this? I think, unfortunately, and I hate doing this, flip on the head saying we've got a couple live serious groups of people wanting to use this probably in the next month or two.
All right. Maybe a way to handle all of that is to say that to pick one of those groups and be like, look, we can give you a developer sprint or something like that, where we're like, how bad do you want it? Pick the best features. You can have like 4 weeks of our time. We'll do nothing but those features. If we deliver on them, you need to pay us X. If we don't, sorry, whatever. And then we can sort of we can test the platform with limited groups of people using test shots that we like run ones that build out the usability of the platform more.
This is the point I'm really hesitate to say excited.
Excited. That's not
curious.
part of the Scottish
word I use. No,
dictionary.
it's not a Scottish word. I bring
You've been hanging out with those English too.
We've got a well, actually, the hopper is full, but of those ready to take the next step and actually put money into something that gets them something that we want, we've probably got 2 or 3.
All right, how much money roughly, if you can say on tape?
Yeah, well, it varies wildly. So one is home consumption, me and Marla.
Right.
The other one is 10 grand GBP. The other one is 200,000. So they vary wildly.
So £200,000 and £10, £10,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay.
We're having some trouble figuring out what the pricing point is.
I would say that actually the smaller one would be better because it means that it can be resold, whereas a 200K project is probably not resellable.
Well, it actually is. That's the Oscent one.
Oh, right. Yeah, so the Oscent one is suddenly struck me as being really good because in that Avenger DAO model that I laid out the other day, it's effectively like you need to partner that with an Oscent platform so that all the individual people, all the those that need avenging can dump all their OSINT that they think doesn't, it can be rumors, chats, it can be this guy said this on this date. Like some of these, I was doing deep research on other famous crypto projects that have tanked, right? And there's been
Hmm.
some like $60 million rug pulls where people have like taken the funds and disappeared. And I'm like, that's a great OSINT type of a system.
I am born again Austin because I think it can be reused in so many ways. Because
Mm,
you could take a step back and what is Austin? Austin is about situational awareness, being more well briefed than the other guy by a long way. Um, and in everything from contract negotiation to divorce, there's nothing better than being more aware of the entire situation and being able to prove it by reference uh, than Osint provides. I
mm,
think Osint is going to be one of the major kind of pillars of it, just because it's so hard to do by
right.
manual means, but it's
Austin Austin
relatively
is
easy.
gagging for network innovation. Like that's really
Yeah,
a great application of networks.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So I'm really keen on getting that one on this because at the moment they've just got rooms full of people googling and going on, you know,
Flights of fancy,
ha- half day, pointless attempts to
rabbit
find
hole
out whether
digs.
this guy is the same guy, even though he spelled his name differently, and so on.
Yeah, right. And that's the same issue that Binance has with their KYC and their AML responsibilities, right? It's like, is this the same
Yeah,
guy? Like,
yeah,
what do these things mean? And there's even some collaboration between crypto exchanges where they will sort of talk about the same guy, and they're like, who's this guy? Like, do you know this guy? And it's really just awesome.
yeah,
And then you tie that to like on chain data and analysis, like on Ethereum or whatever, and basically be able to pull in data sources and have them verified. So you've got like the general OSINT platform that has some built in services that you can pull in sort of vetted data. Like you're like the Ethereum blockchain, you're like, that's correct. This is why.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you just
Exactly.
pull in these libraries of data. Some can be private, some can be public. You can use like the Wayback Machine and pull in like page scrapes, and you can just basically it's scrapbooking
Yeah, yeah,
with an
exactly.
AI,
I think I
right?
was talking about, last time about the way the CIA do it is they get a bit of information and then just put it in a bucket. It's like they don't throw it away. When they pull it out of the bucket, it's like, what do we do with this? How does
Mm,
that fit? And it
mm.
might be probability that's correct is 10%, but you get 1,000 of arrows
A
pointing in the
thousand
same
ten
direction
percent is a bit
because it's
more than
like
10%.
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah, and it still might be wrong, and so your
right.
conclusions
And so,
have to be
but
aware
there's
of that.
something deeper here about the OSINT um, packaging, the OSINT ergonomics, because OSINT can the same ergonomics can be used to find a very rare toy or a gift or find the best school in your local area or find a new city to live in. It can be find a new job and keep finding like over
Exactly,
years track my job
exactly.
prospects and opportunities,
Yeah,
right?
and if you, I'm going to create a new int, data
Uh-oh.
int. So if you, even if you're not using open source at all,
Right.
but you're searching through your own data, and let's take the cancer matching thing,
Could we call it context int or conint?
conint. Yeah, yeah.
Conint.
um, but the mechanism. This is why I'm really keen on getting these guys on board because those guys are actually doing it. They've got experts who do it by hand.
Yeah, do it by
Um,
hand. Those are good ones because we're like, we don't do it by hand. We'll help you. Here.
yeah, right, right. And even imagining shaving off 10% of their effort will make a big difference to them.
Right. And I think I like to imagine that the fact that for us everything's a file and it's hashed and stamped and all that is a benefit to them, because
Absolutely.
otherwise it would be like, well, where are your chats? Oh, they're in this database. Okay. Where's
Yeah.
your files? Oh, over here. Okay. Like,
Yeah. Even even if they are using a single shot, but the single shot can come back with like 1,000 words,
hmm.
and you've got someone to scroll through them.
Right. And then
Okay,
how
well,
do
read that,
you
read
like
that.
take a room full of people and analyze what they're doing to be able to optimize it or give them helpful tools? Because the way that people use computers now, every time they hit Alt Tab, it's a context blinding act, right? You can't see. You're like, where did you go? What did you do? You were using this app, and now I don't know. But
Yeah.
in our system, we're trying to capture them all the time in this one thing. So there's no context blinding. You're always aware what each agent or what each worker is doing, which means that you can now spot efficiencies, but more importantly, I imagine, find the guy across the room that just ended up in the same area as you or was there a few months ago, and you're like, yo, what do you know about this, that, and the other thing?
Right. And there's a really interesting point on that, which I learned from the guys doing this by hand. Is part of it is say if a high net worth is kidnapped,
Yeah.
um, what they do by hand at the moment is use OSINT to find the network from the probable kidnappers. You're not really sure, and so they've got
Oh, right.
geolocation,
So you should
videos and that sort of
you
thing.
should probably be running that all the time anyway, right?
Yeah,
And then you
yeah,
can
yeah,
like the real thing you want is like, hey, there's a high chance that you're gonna get kidnapped, and you just planned to move to this other place where we know this network operates. It would be like massive red flag, like don't go there.
yeah. But the interesting thing they're saying is injection into it, because you imagine, okay, so someone's kidnapped, they've got this network of connections and so on, and what they're trying to do is find a person of
Oh, they want to
stature
be able to
or
jack
power.
into that network so that
Yeah,
they
and then they
can
want to
route
call that
through.
guy. Yeah, they want to call that guy and then see
Right.
what happens.
Right. And then, so I also learned like that's very, very good. I can see that being incredibly helpful. But you also want it to, like, make the call and then see if it can connect, and only if it connects, jack into a real person. So it's busy dialing and trying numbers and all that.
Right,
It could even
right.
be speaking with these people and trying to figure out who's next in line. Like
Yeah,
mapping them out.
yeah.
But I learned that you can get API services that can analyze voice for things like sentiment. I don't know if you can do truthfulness and all that, but surely in a couple of years you'll be able to be like, was this guy
You
lying?
could do it. You could do it for consistency, which is kind of truthfulness.
Yeah, panic levels, or you can then do like the things they use in subs where you're looking at the background noise and you're like, that could have been this sound, that sound. I heard a girl crying. I heard this. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
the
And
um
there's
the
there's
lag on the line. You're like, they are this far away or they're on this crappy connection.
right. And back in the day, in deterrence terminology, we used to call it crony targeting.
Crony targeting.
Yeah. So you find out who. Yeah. Oh, you went to Cambridge with this guy 20 years ago. Uh, okay. So give him a call. Do you still know this guy? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Will you pick up a call? It's like, well, would you call him for us?
Right.
Um, and there was a really great example that I saw where someone from a single Instagram, I don't think it was Instagram, I think it was a single photo because it had Exif. They managed to, and this was just someone looking at a TV of a football game, and in a he had various things on the table and he had his feet up, and that was the image. And they managed to track him down to where he was, which
Right.
happened to be in Leeds, and then managed to get his account details and his address. And it would be a small step if you wanted to, but that would be illegal, of course, to actually hack his accounts because of open source databases of passwords. You can usually get variations because very few people do random passwords. So
Right. Right.
they,
So yeah, okay. That all sounds like a general type of a platform. It sounds like it's useful all round, can be immediately useful to these people you've been speaking to.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
and and
this
hugely valuable.
adaptation network, like the way to ask for more tools or more functions in a broad sense, that's kind of the critical part of an OSINT platform. It needs to adapt constantly. You can't
Yeah,
ever, it's never done because the
exactly.
situation always changes and the situation is adversarial.
Yes, but also there is the cooperative part. So if you take in the example of Five Eyes,
Mm,
uh, UK, Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand, um, who share information. If you had other companies that you had, let's have a sharing situation that you can ask us questions about what we've figured out, and we
right.
can ask you questions about what you've
Yeah, right.
figured out.
Yeah, right. And you just
Um,
make it agent to agent. So it's just happening all the
right,
time.
right. But the interesting thing is, OSINT seems to be a very high level, possibly a top level general use case for knowledge architecture like we've got here and the agent architecture, transclusions, and so on. It seems to be the most general use case that you can get, but then you can constrain it and say, well, actually, I'm only interested in, trials for cancer treatment. And, we've got lots of those and they're constantly coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, that's an
And
awesome effort too, eh?
it is, it is. And then you could even constrain it into just your organization. It's like, well, what's happening? Where's the money going? Um, so it seems to be a very high level traceability that we could fire through this and learn sort of a lot that can be
Mm,
applied in many areas.
mm. That's a good one. And then I
Isn't
guess
it?
the billing for it is like you pay money to get specific tools done, like like what's the word for it? A job or a contract or something.
Yeah.
And then you would, I guess, charge attribution. You could charge token markup. If you took it
Well,
offline
well, the
and you,
attribution works very well with the Five Eyes thing, isn't it? So if you've got one company that's built up a bigger network than you, and you go, hey, can we have a look at this part of your network?
mm,
And then you solve the problem because that was the keylog that you unleashed, and suddenly it made sense. Then that is attributable to the company that actually you got that information from.
right, yep, right, right.
Um,
And then I guess
yeah,
you could also burst it. Like if you've got a room full of people, that's a salary count. And so if you could turn it into jobs that could hit a wide range of qualified people, then that's useful too. You're like, well, now you got a labor market and people pay more for that than just some software.
yeah, yeah. And it works also in marketing. It's like which groups do we hit and why? Um, Again, it's basically OSINT that they're doing, but they don't call it OSINT, but that's basically what it is. Sentiment analysis, looking at the newspapers, the major blogs, the major um, podcasts, all that kind of thing.
Mm,
All that is very useful if it's provided in a timely fashion.
mm. That's a good one. That's a generally saleable, useful thing. Okay, so what debugging tools do I need to make next? And to give you some options, so we got the codex style thing, which seems to be the way of the future in that it grinds, it looks, it considers, it searches, it comes back. It's like deep research, but it's also doing writing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that type of, I guess I'm asking about, do I start making code run in isolated Docker containers so that you can run models like the Codex model? Or do I not do that and instead opt for ways to run the code that gets generated ephemerally. So not a long-lived container, but basically a tool call that says, run this code and give me the result, and then back it comes, which doesn't have the benefit of having Linux tools like grep, find, sed, which is all that Codex uses. And so to train a bot to crawl your knowledge base would not be as easy as I imagine the Codex bot could crawl your knowledge base if it was a Git repo.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got to get to the stage where we can provide sort of like physics simulators to the bots where it's like, now you can run this thing, keep working on it until you get a satisfactory answer.
That sounds like the Docker container route.
Because if we run Docker containers, then we can run the maximum possible, like we can run anything.
Yeah. And the other sounds like similar to unit tests. It's like, well, unit tests can show you so much, but it's not the whole picture. I don't have a good answer to that. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's what comes next. So you need file system access, but I think you also need some Git access where it's like, you're in a Git repo. Here's your Git commands. They're limited, sure, but it's still Git. So you got history, you got commit, you got fork, you got all these things. So I'll basically give you the Git file system nap, and then your bots are able to read from the file system, write to the file system. I may make you like the read takes a range, because the bot needs to be judicious about, like, it doesn't want to blow its context by just reading in a 2 megabyte text file.
Yeah.
It would need to like pull it in snippets, or it might pass that call off to another process to say, probe this file. Here's a million contexts, like a nano call, where it's like, read the whole thing, tell me what's good, give me the section, summarize it, whatever.
Yeah, you can see that. You could say, take this very large file. I'm interested in this part. I want that verbatim. Each of the other parts pass off as a summary of what it does and just assume it works.
Yeah, because the reason, all I'm trying to get around is like, blowing your context window sucks, and that's kind of where we're headed if we just let the bots roam, because we want them to sort of start crawling around the knowledge base and following leads and all that, and you don't want to sort of hit them with a big ass file and then they choke and you're like, oh well, okay, don't go there.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so that chunking thing you just mentioned, I think, would work on that one. Large file, you don't want to just take a snippet, because then you're losing context. But if you were to take a snippet, that's the bit that you're interested in, and right at the top, here are all the includes. Just assume that these all work. Here's the where it's set up. Assume that works. Here's the the grinding bit. That's the bit I'm interested in.
Okay.
Still needs a bit of context, but that chunking up the entire file into chunks, some of which are summarized and some of which are verbatim.
So it sounds like we can solve that problem using a combination of a bit of prompting, some evals, and some code, but not really fundamentally altering anything.
Yes. Yeah. So how to do that? I'll probably do it in a number of passes. I say, here's a large file. Give me a summary of each chunk. Then with those summaries, the next part would be, this is my intent. I want to look at how it deals with, I don't know, file partitions or something. It's like, all right, okay, this summary of this chunk that's the bit that you're interested in. It's like, okay. So then you pass part and just the summaries, but you tag the summaries in case the bot says, "Well, actually, have you included this library?" Maybe that's why it's going wrong. If it can't find anything wrong with the core code, I can see that working.
All right.
In prompt only as well. It's interesting. I'll probably get it to do it right now, but it would take half a morning to do.
Okay. So all right. So we'll roll with that. I'll give you basic file commands, and then some basic Git commands, and then you can tell me where it doesn't work, and we can wiggle our way around that.
Yeah.
All right. What comes next? The debugging platform. We need to give the bots a way to run code so they can write code, so they can help me, so I can get off of Codex and start using our own tooling. So probably need some Docker container stuff, but that's not.
How much of a step from that? I agree that we need that. How much of a step of that would be towards modeling?
What's
possible
modeling?
changes. So I want to make this change. Is it going to be wildly different from what I expect because of that change? And you model drop.
What's an example? What? A concrete example, please.
So there is Grok 4 comes out.
Yeah.
Previously, I was using Grok 3, and I was getting responses that I quite liked. I want to use the latest and greatest, and so it's like, okay, drop in Grok 4. Can I model some of the things that I was doing?
So just eval, like regression testing as opposed to eval.
Yes, that's a better way of putting it. Yeah. Regression testing is a better way of putting it.
So you rerun previous things and then score them against what you got back.
Yeah, and we can do what was a previously good run based on heuristics of an AI going through. Well, if you didn't complain about it, you must have liked it. Say, at the process level.
Right. Or more useful would be to find the ones you did complain about, or you threw your toys out, or you asked the same sort of question multiple times, and it like scored it badly. Yeah, and you're like, I think this is better.
I mean, the same goes for naps. If you want to change a nap or switch out one nap for another, but
see how it worked in cases where it didn't before.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that all sounds part of the platform. Your question was, how much of a step up is it? That's what you just described there is easier to do than it is the Docker stuff.
Okay.
But I guess the goal has to always be, what's the least amount of work to get the network effect? Because Docker containers, they don't feel like they're on the minimum path.
They don't. They sound very useful, but they don't. And even the regression test thing is just sustainability, because you could just try it and then do it by using it and going, that's rubbish, roll back.
So when can we? So we need billing. So that's pretty obvious. So I have to come back.
Yep.
After transcludes, I have to do billing. And then once we have billing, then we can start working on the LAMP, which is all the Stux solutions to them, getting context out.
Yeah.
So that's probably the point that we're like, okay, we are no longer alone.
Yes. Now there's one other thing, this question. We're going to, as far as I can see from talking to various people, reverse in existing, I'm not talking about databases or whatever, but take, until we're ready with this, I'm assuming that if someone was using Cursor, for example, right now, being a repo, you could just reverse it in. No problem
Yeah,
at all.
if you got a repo, just connect it up. Done.
Right. And so anyone using a repo style structure, or even given that some kind of half decent folder and file structure for the data, can reverse it in.
Yep.
And then it follows that there should be a possible translation from any database to a file and folder structure.
Correct.
And therefore
Absolutely correct. Yep.
reverse it in.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Good. I just want to check that because there's probably going to be before we're at the stage of meeting some of the things that people are asking for, I'm going to want to like advise them. For example, hey, I'll give you a hard example. So one of the guys we're talking to has a canonical set of business data out on the cloud somewhere, and it is proving a complete pain in the arse to come off of that. But they intend to do it, but who knows? And this CTO hasn't said yes, and they don't know if it's going to break anything, all that kind of stuff. But they were interested in accessing that, and I described the system to them, and they were very keen on the idea that the interaction with the canonical data doesn't necessarily need to touch the canonical data, it can be read, but the interaction with the bots then is on-prem in their own repo, and therefore there's an air gap between the canonical data, so they can't ask the bot, if it's structured correctly, you can't ask the bot to fuck with the canonical data because that is bad. They want to essentially be able to pull data from that, do all sorts of transforms, threads, various chats, but be able to store that somewhere else and stash that somewhere else. So that's why I was asking, and
So-
I was advising them, saying that that's perfectly reasonable.
So they want to treat the canonical data as read only. They want to take a snapshot view of it and then disconnect from the canonical data, and they want to know that it never changed, and then they want to start experimenting on it in all kinds of ways unforeseen.
Yeah, because there's still a nervousness about if the AI has got right on the canonical data, then someone's going to lose their job at some point.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
So I was just checking that one because that's what I was advising. It's like, well, actually, that's the way you should do it. Anyway,
Yeah.
Canonical data away from your chats and so on, albeit the canonical data may, of course, be in another repo.
Yep. Yeah, but that's the point, right? Cross repo, and you just give you're working on it, so you only have permissions in the canonical data repo to only read, and then that way it's isolated from it.
Yeah, exactly. And you could even have your canonical data being stashed in a repo based on what you've asked it to do. So say if you've done a select and okay, here's the results, stash that in a repo. You can have rules about whether you need to go back and restash and overwrite because 12 months has passed, or this isn't stale yet, just assume that's right, and you've got access to it in your thread as if it was actually polling the real data, but without the threat of you messing up by implying anything to the canonical data.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Basically, yeah.
So, man, there's still a lot of work to go, I guess, is the issue.
There is. The thing to do while you're off doing the CRM, I think, is for me to throw a tracer bullet through this. Not to try and cover everything. Just to, and I'm very keen on using OSINT to do that.
I think that's all we can do is just keep trying to get to the LAMP and only do the bare minimum just to get a crappy version up.
Yeah.
So like what I've got here, I mean, you got it all really. You got files, you got execution, you got bots, you got executables that you can publish. Sure, it ain't like all holistic and all that, but it does work. And so I think the goal is to just make it somehow to the lamp, and then once that's up, go back, like look back and thicken
Yeah,
the areas that we just treated like garbage.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. It's like we've got a flaming torch in our hand, going through this big cave, looking for the lamp, and it's like let's not worry about the rest of the cave.
Yeah,
Who knows
yeah,
what's there? Big spiders,
yeah. Okay,
or
so all we need
trees or
then
whatever.
is transcludes. Do we need agents for the lamp? Not really, eh?
Um,
Why do we need
mm,
agents before the lamp?
to make the lamp fully effective, we need agents, but
Yeah,
to
but
just
that's the same with everything. Like to make chats fully effective, we need agents.
yeah, it's a go wide, go deep question, isn't it?
Yeah, so we definitely need transcludes because the system doesn't work. It's of no use to us without transcludes. Like
Yeah, it gets bunged up.
it's
Yeah,
dead without
yeah.
that. Um Agents, we can get, like you say, we can get good use out of just chat plus transcludes.
Yeah.
The
They should
lamp,
shoot straight through to the lamp. Right, possibly.
right?
Um, an agentless uh, innovations tab
Yeah.
would
Why
be
does
just the same as any other, repo,
yeah.
and so it might flop out very quickly and still be of use.
Yeah,
At
that's the
least you
thing.
can
I guess that's the
stash, you
thing,
can
right? Cuz
stash something.
you can stash something and then you can connect it up to Ethereum with NFTs and USDT payments and escrows
Right.
and all that.
So if you had a stuck in there, it would be uh, it would be a transclude, wouldn't it?
The stocks come with transcludes. That's how you reference the
Yeah,
context that you need, and that's
right.
how
And
you
it's
do
like
things like
you could even
attach
say, yeah,
to the
can
thread.
anyone solve this for me? Would be not very helpful stuck, but it's
Yeah,
like,
but then
but
like
it still work.
because then we could use it to make agents, which would be a lot easier than just I go make agents and then you play with agents and tell me how they need to be better.
Actually, you're absolutely right. You remember there was a period early on where you were very appreciative of when I put it was almost like a narrative because I was copying and pasting, and it's like I
Yep,
asked this and I got that, I asked
yep,
this and I got that, and here's what I was intending to do,
yep.
and that was just copy and paste on text.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now with transcludes, we get that. I can just say I tried to do this, and here's why,
Mm-hmm.
and here's a bit of
Right. You can
context.
just include the section of your text and that's now
Right,
part of the stuck and you're like, here's exactly what I was
right.
trying to do, and it's not just you just told me what you want, it's that a bot helped you write it and also looked up for duplicates and said it
Yeah.
nicely and asked you some questions, and now I got some utility, right? I don't need you around to ask the standard questions because the standard question bot did that for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be right. I mean, even though it's at that level is not much better than cutting and pasting. It's quicker, easier,
I
and
think
you
it's
get to
massively better
chat
because
to.
it's available in chat. You can now
Yeah,
chat
exactly.
about transcludes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you
you
could do
can
that.
chat about innovations.
You could do that on a single innovation previously because you could take that text file,
Yeah.
stick it all in context, and then go, all right, okay. So what I was
Right.
trying
But
to do is
so
tell you about.
really it's as simple as just picking a data structure for what innovations look like. I feel like I already largely have that data structure. And then picking a data sharing model where innovations and therefore transcludes from one repo can be consumed in another.
Hmm.
So that's effectively chain joining. So that's actually a substrate feature that I think is very light that we've been designing for or designing in preparation for this whole time. Can you still hear me?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Then so that's a like almost a substrate protocol level thing to get innovations going because it's otherwise the innovations are stuck on the repo that they apply to.
Okay. I hesitate to say this, but that sounds like another thing to do before CRM, because
It
then
really does a it's
I
like
can give stocks back to you from usage
yeah.
in a much better way than you know me just telling
Then
you what
what,
to.
right? Like what is the
Yeah.
alternative? Like a WhatsApp message? Really? A
Yeah.
screenshot? Like come on. Like we're better
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah. So that does sound like you've just added an extra step before the
Yeah, so
CRM.
it goes transcludes transcludes and then innovations and
Yep.
then that's it.
Yep.
And then we use innovations to work to reason about and reconcile our way back because we've got a knowledge base of definitions and goals and things, and we can say, okay, here's all the innovations, the issues, the stucks. Looking at this knowledge base, if this was the plan, which order would we go in? What's most important, do you
Right.
think?
Yep. Yep.
And then
Yep.
that provides glorious context to something like Codex, where it can generate for me a very detailed instruction set on what to do because I can concat in the artifact code base and be like, how would I solve this stuck given this knowledge
Yeah. Of
base?
course you could. Yeah.
Right?
So you're absolutely right. Because otherwise, when you hand this over to me without innovations, what I'm going to do is come on to these calls
Yeah.
uh, and describe. Oh, 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 man, it's yesterday. Okay, let me show you the thread. You
Right.
know, um,
Right.
which
And
is
and then I'm like, well, that's okay. That's cool, but that doesn't scale. Obviously,
yeah,
you applied no AI to that,
yeah,
and neither did I. Um, the prioritizing is still in our heads, and we're losing valuable data that can be used to project or extrapolate how long something might take, given how long previous things took to solve.
yeah.
Right? But and then as soon as we've got innovations, this is kind of the part that I'm excited about. I think I've pretty much all but lost the ability to be excited. But the once we have innovations, we can then put in a simple button that's just like mint, and it will mint an NFT that represents that on chain.
Hmm.
And then you have an NFT that with a generated image and all the fancy shit and all that, and then you can start putting money against it or offering it to be like, I need this thing, someone come and help me.
Right.
And that's when it starts to get interesting because now we've
That's when you get
bridged.
the network effect. Yeah.
Yeah, we put money in there. We got incentives. We've bridged into a blockchain, which kind of makes it seem real or decentralized. And then we can start laying out all our decentralized ambitions. Like we need it so that you can run on different hosts, so that the Ethereum NFT uses IPFS or some other permanent data structure to be able to always retrieve its contents information. Like we can generate hundreds of innovations automatically right off the bat, and then start scrunching them down, prioritizing them based on our ambitions. And so our calls become like, I tried to go down this path that we worked out was the best. I hit these problems, and now therefore, with these new learnings, we recalculated that we should go this other way. And
it starts to unlock. I don't know if you remember this. This was years ago, but one of the juicy ones, which we don't really talk about, is that whole. As soon as we get NFTs, then we've got a way of generating contribution. So then you've got collaboration.
So, but contribution that's more than just code. It's like monetary contribution.
Well, yeah, the way I was going with that one, the juicy one is academia, where they want to collaborate, but they don't want their idea to be unattributed to them.
Oh, right. And so the NFT gives you like this way that you can't deny that this guy did this thing first, right? So this is definitely an innovation to be added in, but I would consider this a very high priority one that I'd personally want, is the ability to make it so right now I just made this just because of my chats just today. I made this massive amount of Git commits, right? So I've got all these commits since about this is just 6 p.m., 4 p.m. You can see
look like a kind of Twitter level size of data, isn't it?
Yeah, right. So this is all the commits that I've done since 5 p.m., which added new data. And so one of the earliest things would be simply a pegger, where it just pegs the branch hash to a blockchain, so that nobody can ever deny that I made this data at this time, and you can't roll back on that. And what we can do is we can aggregate that across the whole platform, because the Ethereum transactional fees for that will be about 50 cents. So we can do it every hour, or every time there's enough usage for it. But we can do it once for all the people, no matter how many people we're hosting.
Oh, I see.
Because it's just hashes of hashes, and you're just like stamp. And now the whole platform, the whole OSINT platform is pegged, and you're like, no matter what happens, so long as you trust that these two blockchains, the Bitcoin one and the Ethereum one, aren't corruptible, then you know that this platform stays uncorruptible as well, like provably so, because it's proof of existence. Right. Because what you do is you take the hash of the Ethereum chain, and you make a commit in here, and then you put the commit of this chain into the Ethereum chain. And then that means that you can guarantee that within the time it took to do that loop, the data was not available any earlier than that, but also never later. And so that's exactly like the no later bit is because I knew the hash of the blockchain, which means that it can only have happened from the time the Ethereum block was made forwards.
Yeah, timestamp. Yeah.
Yeah. And then because my hash is now in the Ethereum chain, the block that came in, I couldn't have possibly done it any later. So that gives you guaranteed point in time to within a couple of minutes, and you're like, all my data, everything I've ever had as knowledge, like once I can haul it all into these repos, is now pegged in its current state on the Ethereum chain irrefutably. And I think that that is incredibly powerful.
I agree, and not now because we've got crocodiles closer to the canoe than this, but
Crocodiles.
academia is, I think, ripe for this because they've got an interesting dilemma. They get on with the research faster by making it public, but they personally get kudos from it by being the first.
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
the tension.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Darwin sat on Origin Species for like, was it 16 years or something like that? And
Mm.
he only published because he heard another guy had a similar idea.
Right, and he was like,
Like,
"Oh
oh
no,
shit,
quick,
I better get out.
Yeah. So we can also keep the data private, and you can prove later that you had done a certain thing. So even though you kept it secret, you can prove that you did actually on that date do that thing.
Yeah.
The fact that you didn't
Or,
publish it,
or,
sorry.
or you could publish it, but nobody would be able to steal your work.
Yeah, that's right. They couldn't claim it as their own because you're like, well, prove to me that you had it earlier than I did, and it's like, okay, I can't. But you don't have to publish. You can prove that at that time it existed, and you kept it private. That still means that if someone
Yeah.
else came up with it, then you kind of lose out. But you can at least still say that you thought of it.
Well, more than that, actually, what you can do is the currency of academia is citations and authorship.
The web.
And you see some of these papers have got like 30 people
Yeah,
as the authors,
yeah,
generating the authorship and the citations automatically is valuable. Now, I have no idea how they pay for it, or you know, but it is valuable because then if you've got it on chain and hashed,
mm.
I love your idea about hashing it, across many segments.
Could be terabytes of
Um,
data. You could have uploaded
exactly.
terabytes of data, and it doesn't even matter.
I, I
And
love that idea.
yeah,
And then you say, hey, I had this chat with you or your bot, and I said, here's my idea.
yeah,
And then as soon as you say, here's my idea, that is always going to be your idea at that point in time. Maybe
mm-hmm,
you're the first, maybe you weren't.
mm-hmm,
But at least you could say you said this at
mm.
this point.
Yeah. So that key innovation there leaves us with one of the promises I made to you. I was like, even the worst case that we're going to end this thing with is an irrefutable record of what has happened.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And so
exactly.
that's that piece. And I'm like, there's
Yeah,
the platform. You can't deny that these things happen.
yeah.
War
Having died in
crimes.
a ditch, at the very least, we could pass it on
At the
on
very
chain
least, the ditch
and
will be an
say,
NFT.
someone else pick this up. We're knackered.
Yeah, yeah. So that feels remarkably close. Now that is sort of required for the Avenger DAO uh, thing.
Mm. Hmm.
And the Avenger DAO
Yeah.
thing is interesting because I'm like, that's quite good, but I'm not sure when. Like, I could say I'm starting now because as soon as we have innovations, if we got innovations in transcludes and billing, then we can start building a canonical repo of facts. And then as
Hmm.
we realize that the fact finding mission needs more data, we can just use innovations to say what we need, whether it be tooling, whether it be some reliability attributes, pegging, proof of existence, or it could be like we need original contracts verified by blah, blah, blah. We need this legal action taken, or we need quotes on it. Someone go get some quotes for lawyers in this particular jurisdiction, yada, yada.
Yeah. Yeah. Pause. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. But then I think we need a legal entity for the Avenger DAO, I think. Because it needs to be a liability shield.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about these gateways before, multiple gateways.
Mm. But Avenger DAO sounds pretty good because it can inherit like residuals of treasuries and hold tokens and all that. But the critical feature I wanted out of it was that it could manage non-decentralized things like DNS records and social accounts. And so
Hmm.
it doesn't seem too hard to do that, right? It's like, here's a company, its mandate is cleaning up these messes. It provides a voting system like this, and
Yeah, it's the well, there need to be some kind of earthing to the real world, saying here's what we recognize, and here's what we claim, and go over here and look at it. It's all hashed, it's all on chain. Here are rules, and so on, and because without that, it's quite difficult to actually, for example, pursue someone saying, "Hi, you didn't follow the rules,"
right.
by finding some kind of loophole or runaround. Because the DAO is very good at executing um, rules that are objective, but less good at the spirit of it, which is where most of the legal world ends up. It's like, well, yeah, okay, so you found a loophole, but subjectively, the spirit of it was this. And the shield thing is important as well.
Well, that's even important for like investors in DAOs anyway. Like, you know, a lot of DAOs have no liability protection, and so there are some cases that attack the holders.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so what do we do about that? Like, do you've had a day to think about it, 2 days to think about it? Is it still a good exercising idea?
Yes.
Is it the best one?
I think it's a very useful use case.
It gets us a big chunk of initial users either way,
Yeah.
right? Because everyone
Very
who's
good.
lost.
Yeah, and it's that kind of slightly oxymoronic term I used, unionized capital. It's like
That is a great term.
Yeah, when it's below a certain can be arsonist level. So I was looking up some, I was looking for real world instances, and I found one
Yeah.
in pensions. Apparently, there are multiple hundreds of billions locked up in pension funds where the amount in each pension fund is below a threshold that nobody's going to be asked to, go through the rigmarole of claiming, yeah, I had a employer who made a pension for me when I was, 20.
Oh,
Can't
it's
really
just
remember the
dust.
name. It's dust, but it's billions of dust. It's
Billions of
huge.
dollars worth of dust. Right. So I also heard a similar venture that took advantage of the fact that donations in New Zealand give you a tax return benefit. And so the system was set up so that without all the rigmarole of paperwork, you could just pass that off to them. They would claim your tax on it and amplify your donation with that amount and charge a fee for doing it.
That's neat.
Yeah.
It's like a feedback, tax relief back into the original charity.
Yeah, because it's like, well, you're not going to claim it because it's under that can't be asked value. And so there's a lot of stuff like that, right? It's this dust that you can go around and collect. Like a guy I was talking to the other day had just spent an hour and a half on the phone to his bank trying to track down a credit card charge of $200 because was it Apple Was it one of his kids? Was it an error? Was it fraud? Like, what's going on?
Well, that's the equation, isn't it? Is it worth my time versus what I'm going to get back?
Yeah. And then also when you add into that, like that's basically the founding principle of the Avenger DAO. Like no one, we might as well call it the meh DAO because everyone's like meh, can't really be bothered,
Yeah.
right? But if you add up all the meh, suddenly it's like X million bucks, and you're like, shit, that's worth. I mean, that's worth doing something
Right.
about.
Right. Right.
But
And the other one, which is much closer to home, I was thinking about is remember I got bitten with receipts, and the reason is
yeah,
each receipt is like, oh, I'm just gonna stick in my pocket, and then it's gonna go in
same
a box.
dude. It's funny thing. I still have a bag that has all of those. I have literally a bag like it's heavy, like it weighs kilograms worth
Yeah, and it's
of
like,
receipts.
is it really worth your time to go through and even these scanning things? Unless you do it right there and then. If you, it's like, no, because I'm talking to this guy, and it's like,
Yeah,
put it in my pocket. I'll do it later.
I know.
And
So
then it's
even just
like,
a little nap that did receipt capture, that was like just take a photo, chuck it in, here's your thing, done.
yeah,
Even that.
yeah. Um, and also the receipts have implications for getting tax back from the government. So probably, a company would pay for it, perhaps. You'd expect that, but some of it falls between the cracks. And your annual return, are you really going to go through those receipts? The US is terrible for that because everyone's got to go through the receipts, and they literally pay an army of accountants to
Right.
do their tax returns.
Right. So I got a friend of mine who owns an accounting firm. I think they got like 18 head or something like that.
Mm.
He was the one that about a year and a half ago wrote with me that document that laid out some core competencies that they could make use of. Like as soon as the AI can do this, and this, then we're off.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of the items in that document have been met. And so as soon as we're able, I think we should talk to him because that's immediately revenue, usage, experience, all that.
It's
But
also very repeatable, isn't it?
well, that's the thing, right? I was like, he's like,
Death and taxes.
accounting has been the same for hundreds of years, and the
Yeah.
requirement's probably going to stay the same, but how we do that requirement. And so what he's saying is that he can see the AI and he can see how good it is. But what he's saying is that it's, first of all, possible to make a tool that does heavy amounts of automation and just decimate the industry in, say, small business accounting. But what he's
Mm-hmm.
also saying is that nobody has done that yet because their pricing is still the same. And if you had this tool, you'd just go
Oh,
undercut
that's
everyone,
cheeky. Oh, that's cheeky.
right? Because
Right.
you wouldn't keep it the same because you couldn't grow if you
Right.
kept your pricing the same.
Scalability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd undercut, which means that he'd feel it. He'd feel that pressure and be like, "Oh, wow, how are they doing it so cheap?" Right? Right now, the pricing of his competitors is something that is getting tighter and tighter, but he can still meet it. So that's not AI. That's not a paradigm shift. That's not like 1% of the cost.
But if you had, let's think this through because there's something here. If you had Dreamcatcher as as conceptually, um, and you created a bunch of naps that did basic accountancy, and then you said, "World, just use this," because all it is basically tabulation, and then uh, you create it for UK tax codes. That'll be another app because that's not tabulation, that's tax codes. Um, and then in the UK, you'll be able to undercut vastly. Now, what the response of real world, traditional accountants would be, it's like, shit, these guys are like undercutting us by 2 orders of magnitude. What are we going to do about that?
Right.
And probably it would be, well, let's get on this quickly and look for niches that they haven't done. Maybe
But yeah,
non-dominance.
but well, there's a lot, right? Like first of all, you're not going to be able to get the general public to use it because the accountant still needs to certify it. And
Right,
so, what you're
right.
really able to do is to allow a set of certified licensed professionals to now certify 1,000 times more work than they otherwise would.
Yeah,
And so, that small group can get paid a lot.
yeah,
It still then comes down to going out and talking to your client and understanding them because,
yep.
you know, that's always
Get
useful. So,
get him to explain why there's so many cash transactions. uh, there's all sorts there, and especially when the taxman turns up and asks you to explain yourself. That's kind of when you really need,
yeah,
you
that's when
know,
you really need it, right? So,
yeah.
that's all like feasible, possible, and just to be clear, I think we can start those kinds of activities after we have the lamp, right? The once the innovations tab is live, that's when we
Yeah,
can start to tackle those kinds of things, right? Because we can add it in as a stuck and add in the modules as stucks and all that,
right. And the
right?
the interesting thing about accountancy and the lamp is that there are so many niches.
Oh,
Um,
so many, dude, so many. So I also had a very lengthy chat to a mortgage broker,
uh Oh,
and
sounds fun.
it was actually everyone around me thought it sounded like not fun, but I had fun. And
Uh,
so what I learned is that for for starters, there's good money in it. So they were. Do you know much about mortgage broking? Am I wasting my time explaining it, or should I just give you a quick rundown?
Um, I assume it's the same kind of middleman thing, but I haven't had a mortgage in
Yeah,
20
right.
years.
So more the 10 years ago in New Zealand, about a third of all mortgages were done through a broker. Today, it's 2/3, which would indicate that it's going up and going to continue to go up. They make a lot of money because they get paid upfront once the loan settles around about 0.8% of the total value of the loan. So,
Ooh, that's sweet.
yeah. So
So they don't have
around
to
New
do too many of
Zealand,
those per
the
person.
yeah, the
Hmm.
mortgage amounts are around about the $2 million mark, which is about £1 million. So he's getting like, straight off the bat, the equivalent of £8,000, and he estimates the amount of work it takes between 10 and 20 hours on average of work from him to make those deals happen. Now, he didn't mention things like how much time gets spent and wasted on things that don't go through, but either
Hmm.
way, it looks pretty good. So, why am I saying this? Well, okay, obviously, there's an opportunity to make some software there, fine. There is also, what's interesting, a very niche piece of software that is specifically for mortgage brokers, of which there is only one vendor in the country
Hmm.
that charges around about 40 grand a year for their software. And so, what I'm thinking is that there's actually a vast array of highly specialized little niche parts of industry that have these very special bits of software that charge a lot of money that would be easily cloned and could be more powerfully implemented using an AI based system.
That's interesting because I had a friend years ago who was an IFA, independent financial advisor, and it sounds very similar to mortgage brokerage.
Yeah,
Essentially, he got paid on completion.
yeah,
Uh, there was rules, so
yeah,
there's a barrier to entry to
yeah,
be qualified.
yeah. You got to get a
Um,
license.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
But once qualified, uh, part of the qualification is you're going to lose your license if you're not working in the best interest of your client,
that's right. Yep.
which is fine. But in order to do that, the data he was drawing from was one massive database, which was basically a tax on him.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the service, but it sounds like that model of
Yeah. So I
because
think there's a lot of places that do this.
yeah, it sounds like it.
And you could
Unfortunately,
punch them right in the gut with this system because we could be up with a prototype in weeks. And then some features we could offer on day one would be exceptional, like wouldn't be available in the existing software. It's like parse all the policy documents
it's a little bit like Wisdom again, isn't it?
again, right?
Because
But it's just
the
OS OSINT is just knowledge management.
it is, but the point being, the reason that I don't know these guys $40,000 per seat or per organization, however
Per
you do,
year per org.
is
So because they got
is
5 seats, so they run five head, and they pay a total of $4,000 a year to the software company, and they're like, good luck getting any new features. There's just no
yeah,
competition where you're gonna go.
yeah. But all the that service is doing, I'm assuming, is aggregating it. But if it's anything like the IFA, he had a fiduciary duty to give advice, including all options.
Yep.
And so it's like all options. You can sit there and Google all the options.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a whole lot of, I guess, within each one of these opportunities, there's a range of different tasks that or different tools that we could produce that could save time and increase quality. It's sort of limitless there, but once you kick off that fight, you can first of all displace the incumbent, but you also are up for being attacked by everyone else coming in with a vibe coder.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you got a bit of dead zone there because it's like that'll take a little while. So there's money in the short term there, but what I really want to get at is the notion of how it looks like industry itself is going to change. Because would you agree with me that every industry that has a little niche piece of software where there's only one or two players, it's not very well known. If you spoke to the average guy at the pub, he wouldn't even know that the industry really existed, let alone the software that ran it. Would you agree with me that that will very soon be vibe coded out of its niche? Oh dear, you have died.
If you're trying to do organic search, you can throw up a incredibly niche website. Give depending on what keywords you're going after, and it's still worthwhile because hey, it's easy enough to throw up a website. You've probably got lots of websites. So that long tail thing sounds like where these industries are getting wrong, and refer back to your comment saying good luck to get anything changed. I mean, how about that niche is actually really important to you? So it sounds like innovation is excellent at filling in the niches without you having to do it. And you could put some cash up
Yeah.
onto it and so on.
All right. So you agree that, loosely speaking, it seems reasonable to expect that these niches will be sort of, it'd be like when you pick up a rock and all these bugs go scurrying underneath. Like AI built software, innovation powered software is coming for all these niches, and it's just going to get leveled, right?
Yes, but the point I was coming to is I don't think it's going to be outside of a system that integrates it into something more useful. Because the last thing you want is 1,000 niche websites you have to go to. What you want is one.
Yeah.
Aggregation.
Okay. So are you saying then with that statement that, say, there's like niche mortgage broking, niche financial advising, niche fucking cucumber farming, niche fucking, I don't know, like a bunch of niches, and you're saying that if they all get eked out or squashed out by vibe coding or flipped by vibe coding, then still no one, the fact that the niche needs to also be crushed, and it needs to be hauled into one platform where you could be either a hair salon, a mortgage broker, or a cucumber farmer,
Yeah, yeah, it
right?
sounds like that because
Yeah,
the problem is discovery. If you vibe code it, if some random comes up and saying I'm going to produce this piece of code, discovery is a bitch.
right.
Um,
Okay, well, what I was trying to get at is like, okay, that sounds great. Um, but it seems to me like the way that it's going to change is that, so right now the number of more people who are both a mortgage broker, an insurance broker, and an independent financial advisor is like not that many, right?
mhm.
Because you got to get all these licenses, you got to hold all these things, right? You're
Yeah,
regulated in each ones of those types of advice, right? So the
yeah,
way it's all hitting is that each individual has a very competent AI agent that can broker for them the best deal on any range of things that would otherwise be niche. And
yeah,
so the AI acts as a broker where it gathers all options, it gathers the latest research, it gathers this and that, and then it goes and gets the advice it needs. Now, the best kind of advice is AI tailored advice. So, for example, it would be a mortgage broker who had a set of AI tools where an AI could ask him his agents for advice and he would be able to give them certified, guaranteed advice. An accountant where you use an AI to manage your day to day, but the accountant is good at providing the certification on what the bot said to do because he's mastered how to use bots to pick up all the nuance, the differences, the errors, as well as him hand checking a few key things. So now you pay him to get stamped. And so these systems, you can imagine they're valuable as a niche, or they hold value as a niche if you can get a labor marketplace going that certifies what the bot said as being correct.
yes, and aggregates it into perhaps your business has got a number of niches.
Hmm.
You
But
don't have to
yeah,
deal
but
with each.
the key is that we want to, instead of trying to make niche software, we want to be able to make the agent that connects to all these brokering things. So it's constantly trying to cut you a deal everywhere. It's like, well, of course, if I just bought a house, I'm gonna need to turn the power on at that place. What are my options? I'm gonna need some insurance. Who can help me with that? It's always just a jumble of
It
disconnected
sounds,
things.
it sounds what you're describing is very close to what we've been describing as tier two.
Yeah,
Niche is tier three.
but it's a bit more than that. It's about the ergonomics, the packaging. How do you interact with tier two? I think it comes down to a U agent,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
and when we talk within the platform here, where we're like right now, this chat is me interacting with my U agent or me agent or
Yeah,
whatever stupid name we pick, but this is the agent that goes out into the world and acts as me, but I
yeah,
talk to it in the background through these chats and pressing buttons and configs and paying some money for it and all that. But it's not, I used to think that the actor repo was me, but it's not. It's an agent and it acts as me, but I'm still a human just poking at it in the background. It's an agent and it's going out there doing my bidding. That's
yeah, yeah. I agree.
yeah, but
Even when you sleep. Yeah,
yeah, but the idea that I'm trying to sort of capture and get across is that the shift is going to be not one niche, but all niches brokered by the AI on my behalf. Because normally I would do that thing like, how do I choose my mortgage broker? Well, I guess I'll ask these three guys and I'll see who I like. Okay, that's one way. But really, the future is going to be the AI doing the searching, discovery, brokering, the switching, the all this, not you. Because why would you give a shit? Like
yeah,
you just you want the best deal, you want this, you want that, and so we should be the ones that make that marketplace happen. Hitting a couple of niches to get some cash in the bank and to hook up the first, say, 3 so that people start to see where it's going. Like, that's what we got to do. It's not about each individual one. It's about what they look like when they all come together, what's left, and how do you deal with it.
Yeah. No, I see that and agree. I mean, you want to take the bigger niches first, obviously.
I don't think so. I disagree with that, actually, because if you take a small niche, you will make good money and you will survive longer.
That's true. That's true. I mean, that's the philosophy around niche websites, right?
But there's something else that can be grabbed from a small niche that can't be grabbed from a big one. If you can get the model right, which is to say that you are, say, the marketplace where all the remaining mortgage brokers have to go because you're the AI tool that all the customers use to find mortgage broking services, and it's knowing that you can't get all the service by an AI. It needs a human to oversee it and stamp it and all that. If you become the labor marketplace for that, then it won't matter that someone else came and vibe coded something similar because all the customers and all the consultants are there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because the niche is not just solve this problem.
No, the niche is the
grease,
Facebook. It's the Facebook of the niche.
Yeah.
And so we can. I don't think that there's going to be one massive Facebook. I think it's going to be these niche little. The niche Facebook is what you're trying to build, and once you're in there, that's the place to go, and it stays the place to go because all the AIs know how to choose it. They just go, there's already a marketplace for that. Go here, and they're like, what about the other options? And you're like, well, we can check them, but they have these like the feature set will homogenize in the niche. And so if we're that from the start, there's a sort of an amount where it's not worth anyone's while to make another one because vibe coding still has a cost. And vibe coding is incredibly cheaper compared to conventional software, so we've got this massive advantage in the short term. But vibe coding versus vibe coding, you're back down to something where you've got equal armaments, and the advantage is no longer clear. So it comes down to who's in there first, who's got the user base, who's got the marketplace, who's got the best services, who's got the innovation to keep pushing things forwards. And that's why I think these little niches are places where if we get there first and be good, you can't be moved till the next paradigm shift. Like, it's not, if you're tier 2 and you're in the niche and that's where all the humans and AIs coordinate or trade on this particular niche service / knowledge / whatever, you're in. You're done.
I agree. Always wondered how much money the guy who wrote grep got for grep.
Probably not much, buddy. But the guy that wrote the ad plugin for Facebook, probably quite a bit more. So
I agree.
What am I getting at? It's just that it looks like we can see now glimpses of what the future holds. There are certain inevitable paths that technology is going to take, and we have been lucky to see a few of them, and now it's on us to act swiftly about it.
Yes.
The one thing that has an advantage, if it was vibe coding versus vibe coding, is ambient attribution, because everyone who sets up their own marketplace is going to distort it somewhere away from fair. They're always going to favor themselves.
Oh, hold on, your audio's breaking up now. And
Yeah,
oh,
back? Am I
you're
back?
back.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all I was saying is that ambient attribution is like a great leveler or beater of unfair incumbents, but there's a tolerance range where the incumbent plus a small percentage, if it's within QE of ambient attribution, no one's going to switch. So
Hmm.
that's why it's important to get out there first, fast, high quality, adaptive, spread it all around. That's kind of why. And I think ambient attribution has a very viral property where I could go to an incumbent like the mortgage broker I was talking to and be like, hey man, we're trying to make this new piece of software. Here's the future. You know, pretty much we're going to get roaring agreement everywhere we go about the version of the future because it's kind of
Hmm.
everyone agrees now.
Hmm.
But we're like, here's a deal. You help us make this bit of software, and here's your cut. And we don't even need to dick around with like long, protracted negotiations. It's just like, oh, I get how that works. Oh, that sounds awesome. Okay, tomorrow? So it's that speed of conversion where you can, and also you remember with One Office where we had that huge drama about we couldn't get all the oil companies together because they couldn't figure out who was going to reap the fictitious rewards, and they spent so long and so much money arguing over this
Hmm.
fictitious pie that the fictitious pie remained fictitious and still remains fictitious to this day.
Which
So
is why ambient attribution. Yeah.
right? And so
Um,
you can get like this mortgage broker, then his competitors are also mortgage brokers. He's like, hey guys, shall we make this software? Here's the deal on how we get paid. And they're like, well, if everyone's going to use it and we were the early founders to it, that's probably the best that we're ever going to get. So let's make it happen. And like it's got that collapsing collaborative thing. You can't help but be like, well, we should just get on with it. Um,
yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Yes, I agree. The thing I was going to say as a formed thought, it just reminds me of game theory there,
it's
because
yeah, it's
game theory changes on whether the good strategies in game theory is different if there is a stopping state or a set number of rounds, or whether it's indefinite.
yeah, and also game theory. If you completely change how the game goes, then that's very different too. Like
Yeah.
I think it's important to note that the infrastructure is going to change to AI agents on your behalf, doing your shopping, doing your decision making, your choosing which broker to go with, all that. You're going to control it, but they're going to do it. And so
Yeah.
we need to make
Algorithm of
marketplaces
one
for them, like a shopping mall
individual.
for an agent.
Yes. Yeah. And all you have to do is trust your own agent.
Yeah, and that's it. And then everyone else just gets told to shut the fuck up. Like you can't show an ad to it, you can't deceive it, you can't
Yeah.
swindle them. Like if you need to be licensed, it will check your license and it will require proof. Like it'll do all the mundane shit as smart as just an absolute boss of a personal assistant would do. Like a
Yeah.
personal assistant that's the smartest person on the planet. How would they run your life?
And also a disinterested one, in that they're only interested in what you want.
That's right. That's right. And it's all gonna go like that, and we gotta get there first or fast. How
No,
how
I
can we
think
go any faster than we already are?
I'm not sure we can go any faster. We've got a priorities list, and that priorities list only looks out maybe a month. Um,
How long do you
uh,
think it will take me to give you these features?
I would be delighted if it's within 2 weeks. Um, but only because things always come up.
I
Because we're
keep getting bit in the ass. I'm
Yeah,
sick of it.
it's because you're an icebreaker, and it's like you don't know how big the next iceberg is. Might be nothing.
Right. Or
Might
did I
be
make it
fucking huge.
into warmer waters?
Yeah.
Um, man, it's so annoying. Okay, well,
But what I do know is I'm very happy with the priorities list. It's very interesting what you're saying about marketplace. I'm going to listen to this again.
yeah. How would you rate the progress on our platform here then? How does it look from your perspective in terms of speed or lack thereof?
Uh, uh, yeah, a bit like trying to jog in a swimming pool. You're making progress,
Oh, yeah.
but it's just taking a lot more effort than yeah
Oh, that's
it would have.
tragic. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Um, all right. So once we've got transcludes, innovations, and billing, then we can both start working on platform, laying out plans, prioritizing them, hook them up to Ethereum, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the main thing from this call, which was an excellent point about innovations, we can get innovations up in a real quick and dirty thing without
Yeah.
using much more than what we've already got.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And in what I mean, what is innovations going to be more than that anyway?
Um,
It's what you
wow, not
do on it, right?
yeah, yeah.
If it carries transcludes and it's AI processed, what more do you want?
And the other thing is things like escrowing.
Money, right? Yeah, right. And that requires the Ethereum integration, which is all perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So all the other features like triggers, agents, group chats, NAP
Those are
installations.
they can wait. They can wait because the next
Ugh.
stage is just going to be a user base of two.
User base of 2, which is better than user base of 0. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we can start putting money against things so that other people can help us.
Yeah.
We can then lay out our timelines when someone's like, hey, I want to give you guys £200,000 for this thing. How long until I can have it? And we're like, computer says 3 months or something like that.
You know that if we could get that within even an order of magnitude, it would be better than what most people manage
Even
to do.
if it bloody well sounded good and we were sitting there being like, yeah, that sounds about right. Like, and it was kept up to date, and
Yeah.
all this stuff and it had some statistical backing. It's like, well,
Well, the statistical backing I find very interesting because there's a whole bunch of tools that are already established, and what when someone says, "When can I have this by?" What they currently are thinking is, "Give me a date."
mm,
Whereas if you can give a standard distribution of the probability of
yeah,
deliverables,
yeah,
uh, and then you go, there you go,
yeah.
is
And then,
likely to be in this area.
right. And then there's like, some portions of this journey carry a very high variance. So when we
Right,
get to that task, that's when it's either going to be long or short for the whole
exactly.
project.
And then you can start making smart moves like, well, maybe we shouldn't put high variance tasks on the main line
Yeah. Let's just get a
because,
thin slice through.
yeah, which is the kind of tracer bullet thing. Um,
Mm.
it's called Shattering the Loop. The beast defeated. Oh, is this the story? Exploring
Yeah,
into
it told me a story
harmless
using
fluff of nothing much vibes.
using JSX as a storyteller, right? Boredom equals
Uh,
0, freedom, fight on.
that's quite funny.
That's
It's quite
quite
funny.
clever,
Yeah,
right? It's because all my prompt was, which was pretty tragic. I was just like, tell me a long story.
yeah.
And then it's like, fuck, this guy has been talking shit all day. Like, I was like, show me some JSX, not helpful. And then the other ones, I was like, more I just treated this thing like garbage,
Yeah,
and then it
there's a
just
yeah. It says in Markdown at some point.
well, in at some point I was just passing in like dots, like I was just like, yeah, I just wanted it to say something, and then it's like dot 10 touches down. A perfect 10 out of 10 in the Ton Olympics in Morse code that adds another E to our epic string E. Like, it's actually pretty funny, this bot.
It's got a personality, hasn't it?
Like, it's just like, this guy is just treating me like garbage, but,
You literally just put a line of dots in.
well, because I just wanted to test if I'd solve the problem each time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what now?
Right. Well, I'm gonna need to go.
Okay.
So what now is I carry on with the plan. I guess you can get me what we talked about. Then I'll fold in these real worlds as tracer bullets, and
Right, because all your
now we've got
pipeline,
innovations.
your pipeline needs to come over to here, right?
Yeah,
Like we
yeah,
need to put it in as innovations, and then work out what the pipeline nap looks like. Like, how do you manage it? What does the data structure on disk look like for a sales pipeline done in this fashion?
yeah,
What types
yeah.
of tools? What types of bots? What types of all these things?
But also we can start to talk about this on a shared screen, you know, with chattables, so that
Chattables.
It's terrible, terrible word.
Chattables. That's a good name.
It sounds like Doritos. Like, oh, I've got a packet of chattables. But you can look while I'm asleep. I can look at what you're
Yeah.
doing while you're
Yeah,
asleep
and then
and
we
all
can
that kind of
pass
good
our
stuff.
repos over to each other where you can see what I was sort of waving at, and I can see what you were slashing at, and maybe we
Yeah,
can help each other.
yeah, yeah.
But I can
Precisely.
also pass my bots across what you've done to try and be like, what's everyone up to? What's Maxwell up to? How does this relate to
Yeah,
blah blah blah?
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Okay, innovations.
All right.
Transcludes innovations.
Yeah.
All right.
CRM and then back. But when you come back, there's going to be a bunch of innovations looking for a home.
Yeah. And the Avenger DAO, that's just going to have to wait until both those things happen.
I think so, but I think it's a good idea. That could do with some tooling, which is what we're working on.
Okay.
All
Alrighty.
right.
I'll
Okay.
see you next time then.
Yep.
I'll
And
see you Friday.
Friday. Friday is.
Friday it is. Okay, bud.
All right. See you, dude.
See you then.
All right. Trigger seems to not be working.